Cheers. Hey everyone, didn't plan this vlog, although that implies that I plan anything, but obviously last week I had an enduro. This week I forgot I'd entered another enduro. I'm at Tweed Love in Scotland. Now Tweed Love is one of the UK's biggest bike events. This has the largest demo fleet. There's so many brands here. There's like 200 demo bikes or something like that. Plus they've got an enduro which I actually entered months ago and completely forgot about, and then did the enduro last week. Got home, realised I've got another enduro. So I kind of had semi-planned on doing a street trials edit, but instead you're getting 2 enduro vlogs in a row. Speaking of last week's enduro, I have a confession, guys. I said I came 7th in Elite. What I failed to mention was there was only 7 riders in Elite. I came last. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to win. I fell off loads. I was over a minute behind on the winner in my category. But in my age category, if I had entered the appropriate one, I would have come 22nd out of 104. So I'm quite happy with that, to be honest with you. I don't know what category I've entered in here. Slightly less impressive number this time. But I'm doing it for drop and roll, doing it for all the trials riders out there, and yeah, fingers crossed I'll be one of the fastest trials riders. My start time's coming up soon, so I'm not going to spend too long talking to the camera, but I will say that last week I thought that was a long ride. That was a 22-mile loop, which is, to be fair, probably the longest I've ever ridden on a mountain bike. This week it's over 30-mile loop. I did practice yesterday and it was the hardest bike ride I've ever done in my life, and I drove half of it. So today I'm absolutely knackered, my legs are already burning, pretty much had to crawl out of bed this morning, and I've got to go and do it all again, except even more, no driving. So see how we get on, but for now I'm gonna go check what time I'm starting, get in queue, and if I have enough time, kind of see what else is around. We've got Orange. That's a cool bike. Yeah, copycat. Yep. There are 4s here. Yeah, matching. Yeah, oh, more bikes, more oranges. Good choice, guys. Yeah, it's on now.
Hi, camera.
I noticed before you had a few cool things on your bike, like what's going on here?
Yeah, basically after practice yesterday, suffering with arm pump so badly, so complete bodge job, cut some inner tubes, just to try and make the brakes easier to pull.
Ali's gonna lead us off. Come on, everybody.
Right, so that is us on the way. Fortunately this time we're actually allowed cameras on the top of the helmet, so I'm not going to have a camera blocking my view this time, which is ideal. What isn't ideal, certainly for my legs, is we've got an 8-mile ride to the start of the first hill, and then we've got to ride all the way to the top of said hill. I mean, I say hill, it's more like a mountain. But, you know, it's a good warm-up for the legs. I'm going to be up there in a second. You can see some riders, and now I'm uphill. That's where I was before. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's where the start is for stage 1. And look at these views, absolutely gorgeous. Scottish borders for you. Obviously it would be pretty nice if it was sunny, but this weather is a little bit more accurate, I think. Right, eventually after a long slog, start of stage 1. Now I think I'm going to do a bit like I did on the last vlog. I'm just going to do a voiceover afterwards, then I can concentrate on riding rather than giving a rolling commentary, because that's going to be pretty hard when I'm concentrating. So I need to concentrate, because on this one yesterday in practice I ate so much sugar on the corners. One of the worst crashes I've had for a while. Just lost the grip, went flying, shoulder barged the floor, hit my head so hard. So I'm going to be a bit cautious. It's not a sprint, it's an endurance. So yeah, let's send it. Cheers guys. Cheers. Catch you in a bit. This is actually the shortest of all the tracks today, and also the one I fell off the hardest on, like I said. This one is mainly just corners, It doesn't look steep, but it does get it. It's also got some pretty loose rocks in places which like to catch you out. But it's pretty fun. So far I was doing okay until that corner. Kind of just came in a bit wrong. And then, yeah, basically just trying to get all these corners as good as I can and not to lose a front wheel. I can't remember which bit it was I crashed on, but essentially my front wheel just washed out and I bounced down the track. It is not as grippy as it looks, and actually I heard a lot of other people say that they fell off on it as well, which makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, just trying to go fast but not too fast, and at this point I'm actually beginning to feel my arms a little bit, which is really annoying. So I'm not really pushing into these corners that hard. Not risking that tyre sliding out. But you can see all the loose rocks there, and it's actually, since I rode it in practice, it's had another like 500 people down it, and it's completely different in places to how I remember it, and any of the mud that was there has kind of been just scraped off. I found a few flat bits. People would sprint, but I'm just taking it a little bit easy, sitting down. But until then, just trying to get around these corners a bit better. Bit of a sprint on here and straight to flat. Now it's actually quite nice in these woods. A little bit more loamy on the tyres, which I actually quite like. I like it when it's a little bit slippery, but with my tyres on, it actually makes it pretty grippy, grippier than the top actually. And this is just a really fun track. I can't remember what it's called. Flat White, something like that. And that's the finish right there. Well, that's stage one done. That actually went way better than yesterday. Had to slow down a little bit a couple of times just to let my hands recover, but generally happy with that. Definitely not the fastest, but good for me. Only thing now is this massive hill we just had to get up to get to the start of stage one. We've got to do it all again, plus extra to get right to the top of this hill for stage two. That's going to take a while and use up most of my energy, so let's just get on with it. I'll see you at the top. I am here at the middle of nowhere, top of a mountain. Got stage two. I think these two drew the short straw of being at this one. This weather is terrible, although we have actually got a clear patch now. Now, the guys at Leogang, the World Cup, they got nothing on this track. They would kill for this one. It's steep, muddy, loose. You know, last week I mentioned down in the woods. This one's twice as long, twice as steep. Good fun, and it's also incredibly dark in there, so I'm not wearing the goggles because they make it even darker. So yeah, guess less chat, more riding. Now the start of this track is actually pretty horrible, just muddy and fairly flat and wet and exposed and windy. I tried to sprint as good as I can, but I knew I've got a long track ahead, so it's not an all-out sprint. I'm just trying not to get any muck in my eyes because I'm not wearing any goggles, because as you'll see in a minute, these woods are as dark as anything, and goggles make them a little bit darker still. So yeah, pretty nervous coming into this first corner. Lots and lots of roots on this track, and pretty much getting taken out by the first one there, and you can see how dark it gets. I've had to tweak the Premiere colour correction quite a bit in here, so apologies if it's pretty fruity in places, but at least you can actually see stuff. Well, kind of see stuff. You can't quite see all the roots down there, and they're just catching me out. I'm not used to riding roots, and yeah, there's so many there just catch me out, but managed to get down that bit. This bit is fairly flat. As you can see, I'm a lightning bolt down here, going as quick as anyone. Nah, who am I kidding? Went pretty slow there, trying to gather my strength, because I know what's going to come. It's steep and it's muddy. So this bit's actually quite pleasant. You can just go down here. I'm trying not to completely use my brakes all the time. I'm trying to even like pulse them at times, because holding on, just pulling the brakes, obviously it slows you down and it pumps my arms up as well. And there's all this bit fairly flat, but it will get steeper, believe me. God, it's so slow, isn't it? Oh. I did have to stop a few times, maybe I think it was like even 3 times in practice because of my arm pump. So that's why I'm not sprinting. I'm just saving. I keep on going on about it, but I am saving my energy because I am going to struggle with arm pump further down here. Getting a bit steeper now. Nice straight line, straight down the hill. I'm trying to stop and not hit that tree. I'm trying to go fast, but I am pretty nervous about just random roots that are going to come out and get me. Although this bit's pretty fun. I like it when they get nice and steep and muddy. Although to be fair, like I said in the last one, it's had hundreds of riders down here, and I've got a mud tyre on the front, because in practice, coming down here, it is pretty loose and muddy and loamy and leafy. But after all those riders have come down, they've pretty much dragged away all the topsoil and got down to some pretty hard sort like ground and rocks underneath, so perhaps a mud tyre wasn't as needed in the race run as it was in the practice, but it was still pretty good. Watch out for these roots here. Now I'm pretty much crying in my helmet here. I'm wanting to stop. My arms are absolutely killing me, which is why it's taking it pretty easy over those roots there. Can't even talk watching this back. Getting caught out in the back tyre with some roots there. And straight into some dark bits again now. It was so dark, barely see a thing. I like it when they point straight down the hill, nice and steep, good for me. And we're coming to the first fire road crossing. There's actually quite a steep chute. It's quite fun to jump down. On practice day I gave myself such a shinner going down that. And it's actually quite loose rocks at the bottom which caught me out, came to a bit of a stop there.
Arm pump.
But yeah, I'm getting such bad arm pump this bit here. If I had any choice, if it wasn't a race, I'd be staying there for about 5 minutes to rest. But I'm determined not to stop if I can avoid it, although, yeah, riding pretty slowly to try and get some feeling back in my hands. God, it's so slow. And then the second fire road crossing. Again, just wanting to stop and rest those arms, but determined to get down in a wanna. This bottom bit now has quite a lot of roots in it. And quite a lot of off camber as well. But I've not stopped and not crashed. Spoke too soon. You see that root back there, just caught my back tyre. I don't exactly know what happened. It must have just pitched my bike sideways, popped me over the bars. It actually really hurt my wrist. Didn't notice it, but the next day my hand was absolutely killing me. Didn't get on the quickest because I just resting my arms again, but I know I'm getting fairly near the bottom now. So I'll just hold on for a little bit longer. Bit there can get some speed, and this bit in practice, a lot of people are practicing that bit because that is a steep, rooty chute, and I think a lot of people are struggling with that. There's a corner here which you have to kind of hop the back wheel around as well. And I'm pretty sure I'm getting near the bottom now. Just trying to avoid these last few roots. I can see the light at the bottom of the woods. I know I'm getting close. Not long now to hold on for. And the finish straight.
Oh my god.
That is one of the hardest downhill runs I've ever done in my life. I've never had this much cramp before. I've never had that much arm pump before. I wanted to stop. so many times. But other than that crash, obviously I had to stop for that. I am pretty happy I managed to get down, yeah, without like having to stop completely. Obviously I came to almost a complete stop a few times, but that is absolute agony. I think there's some cake at a food stall over here. I'm going to take a look and eat as much as I can. There's no cake left.
No cake.
How disappointed are you?
Well, very disappointed.
Got some saurine though, that'll do nicely. Cheers. So that's stage 2 done. Bit of a trek now, along the road, up onto the hills, over to Glentress. Just done absolute massive slog all the way up this valley, even like beyond the corner where you can't see. Absolutely beautiful but brutal climb. Just at the top of the hill, got stage 3 start just there, and just what you need after a massive climb like that is a pedally section. Apparently this one is pretty pedally. I wouldn't know because, classic me, yesterday I got lost in Glentress. I couldn't actually find section 3 or stage 3 at all, so this one, brand new to me, it's going to be a surprise.
Go!
Cheers!
Right, so setting off into a stage I have never ridden before. A lot of people said if I'm gonna miss any stage, this is probably the one to do it, so that made me feel better. But yeah, I've heard it's got a lot of pedaling, and it does. And to be honest with you guys, I cheated in the editing. I cut out a hell of a lot of stuff on this. So this is just a start when I've got a bit of energy, trying to sprint, get some speed while I'm still a bit fresh. It's actually quite fun, you know, get a bit of speed through these woods. It's quite enjoyable. But yeah, there's a bit coming up soon, and it starts to get uphill quite a lot. I'm often messing up the corner there. So yeah, quite nice, and then it begins to slow it down quite a bit in a second. Yes, is it going uphill now? Not what you need when you're racing. So let's skip. So it's a bit further up that same bit, still pedaling, and then pointing it downhill a little bit now, back into the woods. As you can see, not exactly as eager to sprint on this bit as I was earlier. And it's hard to tell exactly how fast I can go through the woods, trying to look ahead so I can see the corners coming up. I think trials gives you some pretty bad habits at times and making you look quite close to where your front tyre is. So I'm just trying to look far ahead, see what corners are coming up so I don't get caught out. Because like I said, I've never ridden this one before, so I don't know what's coming. I think I'm just sitting down pedaling through all this bit. Let's skip again. And here we are further on. I'm sure I caught a glimpse of another rider like I'm catching him up. So getting, oh there he is, ahead there. So I'm getting a little bit more determination. I'm like, right, I want to go catch that guy up. Never overtaken anyone in enduro before. It sounds like I've done loads. Second. Yeah, I'm determined to catch them up, so I think I can go fast on these bits, so I just let the brakes off and get a bit of speed. It's actually pretty fun. Run a little bit wide on the outside of that corner. And then this bit's fun, I can see that guy ahead, he's going fast, I'm like, right, no brakes on this bit, catch him up. Obviously brakes around the corner, but yeah, and I'm like, excellent, that's the stage done, brilliant. Oh, this guy's carrying on, I didn't know what was going on at this point. Better check.
Is that the end? Did that just finish there?
No.
Okay.
He's gone.
So I thought that was a finish. I was so wrong.
Right.
So after a bit of a fire road climb, back into, this is the brand new bit we got at Glentress. It's called Mild Peril. I'm not sure if that name's going to stick, but this is really fun actually. Just switchback after switchback. And I'm not the best at cornering, I'll put my hands up and say that. This is brilliant practice though. I can feel myself getting better as I'm getting down it. Trying to brake before the corners, let it run, like no brakes on the exit of them. It's really grippy in here, it's nice actually, dead fun. Did have a bit of arm pump by this time though, but one of the more enjoyable bits. Pretty steep in places too, and like some drops that can catch you out into the corners. So I ran into that corner a bit hot there. but I'm happy with the way I did some of these. It'll be interesting to see how the fast guys managed to get around them. Bet they'd be doing the Swedish ticklers all over the place. I think that's pretty much getting to the bottom of mild peril, and yeah, that's pretty much the bottom of mild peril. Starts to get a little bit flatter in a second. It's just one last bit of a sprint there while I've still got some energy. Yeah, you can see it's flattening out a bit, so yeah, should we skip forward a little bit again? This is me right at the end of the stage now. Cut out quite a lot on this one. It actually took me 12 minutes to do this entire stage, and that's the finish right there.
In stages that just didn't end news, that just kept on going. I thought we got to the fire road, I was like, oh man, that was long, but thank God that's over. No, it's only halfway. Those switchbacks were pretty fun though, but that's going to be some pretty boring footage, to be honest with you. I was going to do some commentary, because doing a voiceover for that, I've got nothing to voiceover, but I was so out of breath I couldn't even bring myself to speak. Had so much arm pump, had cramp. Most of that I was just sat down pedaling. So yeah, not the most exciting stage in the world, but this next one should be pretty interesting. A bit like stage 2, pretty much straight down the hill, steep as Ken. I think I just need to be as fluent as I can on it. Just try and get down in one piece. Absolute nightmare climb to do now to get up to the top of it. But yeah, let's get on with it. In the middle of this horrible climb, I found someone who likes the vlogs.
Love them, so good.
Keep an eye out for this on Friday, you see yourself.
Yes, I will do.
Right, the top of stage 4, cutting it really close to time now. I think they're going to shut this one literally 5 minutes, so I'm just going to get on with it.
1, 3, 2, 1, go!
Cheers!
Right, so the start of stage 4, very much like stage 2, back into the woods, back into the darkness, back into the steepness and the roots. This is actually, in practice, probably my favourite one that we did, and as I'll say after this, I've actually adjusted my suspension, so my bike's feeling amazing down this one. And this is one that's still actually pretty muddy in places, so my mud tyre in the front being absolutely perfect. But yeah, just trying to not get caught out on those roots and trying to basically just stay wheels up on this one and not stop due to arm pump. But hopefully you can tell it is pointing pretty steep down this hill. GoPros and wide angle lenses tend to flatten stuff out, but this is seriously steep in places, like that bit there, so steep. I think I pretty much wore out my brake pads on this one alone. And it's pretty rutted in places, trying to stay in the ruts, not escape too much, and trying not to hit any trees. But this one was a really fun one. Just so steep, messed up that corner a little bit, came to a bit of a stop, but not too bad, not too bad. At least I haven't fallen off yet. And I'm feeling pretty fast down here. Again, I'd like to see some of the fast guys come down and see exactly how they're doing stuff. And that bit wasn't the fastest there, that's for sure. Just keeping an eye on these roots, because if I'm going to crash, it's going to be because a root catches me out. Always is. Yeah, this bit coming up is pretty fun. Such a deep rut, so I'll try to keep on the outside of it, cut that corner a little bit. Quite happy with that. Now in practice I came down a steep bit in a second and couldn't stop and ran into a bit of a tree. I think it's that bit there perhaps. So quite happy to getting down this bit so far without really coming to a stop. There's a couple of slow bits, but generally not too bad. Went a bit squirrely there. Don't know what happened, I think there must have been a root in there somewhere. And then coming back onto a bit of a flatter path now. Not sprinting, kind of just freewheeling down here, giving my arms time to recover. And a breather. This bit's nice, give my arms a good old rest there. And then a bit of a sprint now. we gathered some energy. Trying to cut it close to these trees down here. I think I pretty much shoulder barged some of these trees in a second. We're getting closer to the bottom of this stage now. It's a really fun one. Need to come back here and just practice it just because it's so fun. This bit's a lot steeper than it looks as well. And then just a couple of corners left, keeping it wide around the trees, and then last drop in to the finish.
Alright guys, no time to reminisce about that one. I need to get straight to stage 5 because they're going to shut it any second. Hopefully I can get there in time. I got told this stage was going to shut in like 5 minutes, so I've just sprinted the transition between them. Absolutely bust a gut. And there's a queue. Classic. We've got a bit of time until I go down this one, so recap, that last one, so steep, so loose. I love tracks like that. And actually recommended to me by someone else I've met on here just to drop a few PSI out my fork because I was running pretty damn solid. Made such a difference to the arm pump. It's kind of one of those obvious things. It's like, why didn't I just do that? It's just, I don't know. Being a trials rider, I'm used to rigid forks. It's all a learning curve, so I'll get that ideal suspension setup eventually. But yeah, absolutely smashed it down that. I think I'm really happy with that. A couple of feet down moment, but no crashes. Quite happy around some of those corners. This one, however, is not going to be fun. This is going to be a pedally one, bit of a climb in this one as well. But got here, it's the last one of the day. See how fast I can do it.
Right, last stage. My legs are absolutely done in. Done such a long distance to get to this one. Managed to find a little bit of energy to sprint at the start, but that soon runs out. Such a pedally stage, this one. As you can see, starting to go uphill already. Let's skip a little bit, shall we? So there's a bit further on. Yeah, this one in practice, I couldn't believe how much climbing there was in it. This stage 3 and stage 5, this one, such pedally stages. So I was kind of just sitting down and pedaling, and I'd actually put my seat up a little bit, even in the frame. I'd undone the quick release and put my seat up, so it's actually up my arse a little bit. I hate riding with the seat up, it makes me feel so out of control. So I definitely would have gone faster through all that bit if I had my seat a bit lower. But yeah, you can see it's a very pedally one, starting to go uphill again now. But I've seen glimpses of a rider ahead, a bit like that stage 3, and I get a bit of a determination in me. I definitely just want to catch him up, see if I can actually overtake someone again. So I don't know where he is now, but I've managed to dig deep and try and find a bit more energy, crunch those gears, and you can see this bit now, some serious climbing. And there's the rider. I did catch him up a little bit. And then this bit, I couldn't believe it. I thought this is where the stage ended when I did the practice, but yeah, this bit's so steep. Get off and push. This bit's boring. Let's skip again, shall we? So, get back on the bike now. I can't believe I got off and pushed in a race. So yeah, a bit of a easy downhill, resting those legs, or trying to do a manual. Didn't have the leg strength to do it. This bit's boring. Let's skip again. And then this bit, kind of uphill. I don't know where I got it from, but I managed to get some last bit of energy and just overtake this guy. And this bit is actually fairly steep uphill. And then I see another guy and I want to catch him up. Managed to catch him up a little bit, not before we got into single track though. A fairly young guy, dead nice, let me pass.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers, guy. And then this bit, managed to get a bit of speed again, but like I said earlier, my seat's kind of up my arse a little bit, so I'm feeling not quite as much control as I might normally be. Very annoying. So I had a couple of moments coming down here, like like that bit. Seat hit me in the arse. But yeah, this single track section down here is pretty fun. But a bit of a climb again here, I think. Not too much though. Managing to still find a bit of time to pedal. Starts to point a bit more downhill now. We're going to these woods. Again, a few routes to catch you out. This is such a long stage. But this bottom bit's actually pretty fun. I rode it in practice, but I didn't know it was a stage, so I wasn't paying too much attention. And I've actually caught up another rider, I couldn't believe it. So now I'm determined to overtake him, but I wasn't too stressed.
This time, no stress.
So I was just waiting for a moment to overtake this guy. Nowhere too obvious until I saw this bit, 2 lines there.
Sorry, cheers.
Managed to only just sneak by. I hope I didn't actually hit him. And then this bit's nice down here until I went the wrong way. I thought for some reason I went straight on there.
Lost it.
Bit of a climb up the fire road, so I just skipped that.
Brilliant.
And then the last downhill bit here, I think. So this is literally the last bit of the last stage. Absolutely knackered by this point. It'd be fun to ride this when you're not so tired, because this bit is actually pretty fun. And then last corner here, trying to push it as much as I can, and the front wheel hit a root. That actually hurt quite a bit. So annoying, literally the last corner.
Right at the end.
So I just dropped in, and that's the finish.
2x2, well done. I've finished. Can't believe it. I'm not going to dawdle here too long. I'm just going to get my breath back. Then I'm going to go and hand in my transponder. Try and get there in time. Had a bit of a spill on there. Just took a scab off. Got a bit of blood. It is nothing. So annoyed though. Although, can't believe I overtook, like, was it 2 people on that one? That stage was the one I thought I was going to be the slowest on, but I'm pretty pleased to have overtaken people. Anyway, let's go hand in the transponder. Oh, that is done. That is the hardest ride I have ever done, bar none. That is actually I actually set a Strava. That was 32 miles, average speed 6.2 miles an hour. That's obviously because of the fire climbs. I'm obviously a lot faster than that in the downhills. Took me 5 hours and 11 minutes to do, and I came a disappointing 101st. Look at that. So 154 people in my category. I came 101st. I'd have liked better than that, but I'm going to big myself up here a little bit. I've never ridden 32 miles before in my life. I've never ridden up hills as long as that in my life. I'm not used to this kind of stuff. I'm just stoked, happy that I have even finished. There was a point yesterday where I was like, I'm gonna quit, I can't do tomorrow. So it's a personal victory to even finish that. So to not be last is another victory, so I'm happy with that. I need a drink. Right, that is me about to put my incredibly mucky bike away. Man, that's gonna need such a wash. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know, I'll keep it going, but that was intense. So I'm gonna try and recover the use of my legs by the time the next vlog comes out, and maybe get back out on the trials bike for once. Wouldn't that be nice? But yeah, until then, be fluent on your bikes, guys. Go out, have fun, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.